This is the most powerful, most secretive, and most bizarre club in the world, and you've probably never heard it. It's called Bohemian Grove, and what happens inside could change the world. From secret meetings that may have started the nuclear bomb, to leaked footage that shocked the internet, we're exposing the wildest secrets of the elite. So, stay till the end, because we're uncovering what they don't want you to know. Bohemian Grove is a super private piece of land, like a giant forest hideout in Monte Rio, Northern California. It's not just a park or some random retreat. It's actually owned by a secretive club called the Bohemian Club, which has been around since 1872. Back when it started, the club was just a chill hangout spot for artists, musicians, and writers who wanted to get away from city life. But fast forward to now, this club is nothing like that anymore. Today, the Bohemian Club has around 2,500 members. Once every year, in mid-July, all these powerful men gather at Bohemian Grove for about 2 weeks. They totally disappear from the public eye. No media allowed, no journalists, no cameras, not even phones. It's 100% secret. What happens in the Grove stays in the Grove. So you're probably wondering, what do these rich and powerful guys actually do inside Bohemian Grove? Well, this is where it gets kinda creepy. The most famous event they do every year is called the Cremation of Care. Sounds spooky, right? And honestly, it kinda is. On the first night of the gathering, all these rich old men wear long hooded robes, like something straight out of Harry Potter, and they gather around this 40-foot tall stone owl statue. This owl is called the Great Owl of Bohemia, and it's like the symbol of the whole place. Well, in many cultures, owls are seen as symbols of wisdom. In Greek mythology, the owl is connected to Athena, the goddess of wisdom and knowledge. So if you go by that logic, the owl might just be a symbol of thinking smart, staying wise, or detaching from everyday stress and problems. But of course, it doesn't stop there. Conspiracy theorists have their own version of the story. Some people online believe that the owl is actually a symbol of Moloch, an ancient pagan god who was supposedly worshipped by burning children as sacrifice. And no, there's no solid proof that the Bohemian Grove owl is linked to Moloch or anything like that. Most historians and researchers say the owl is probably just a symbol, nothing evil or satanic. Still, people find it suspicious. Then, they perform this dramatic ceremony where they burn a coffin. But don't worry, it's not a real coffin with a body inside. The coffin is labelled Dull Care, which is supposed to represent all the stress, worries, and responsibilities of the outside world. Basically, the whole ritual is about letting go of their real life problems. It's meant to help them relax and forget their stress while they're in the grove. But let's be honest, if you saw a bunch of powerful world leaders and CEOs dancing around a giant owl statue in robes and setting things on fire, wouldn't you be like, what the heck is going on? To outsiders, it looks like some kind of weird secret. But if you ask the members, they'll tell you it's all just theatre, like a fancy play or performance to kick things off. Nothing serious, nothing evil, just tradition. Still, people can't stop speculating. Because seriously, why would presidents, generals, and billionaires do something that looks so strange? In the middle of the woods, with zero public access? Okay, so now, let's talk about the kind of people who actually go to Bohemian Grove. Spoiler alert, it's not regular people like you and me. The guest list is basically a who's who of the most powerful and rich men in the world. We're talking about presidents, billionaires, CEOs, and even famous artists. Let's name drop a few, just so you get the idea. Presidents like Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush, and George W. Bush have all been there. Secretaries of State like Henry Kissinger and Colin Powell have attended too. Then you've got CEOs like Steve Bechtel from the massive construction, David Rockefeller from one of the richest families in America, and even Bill Gates is rumoured to have been there. Oh, and it's not just politics and business. Even famous writers and musicians like Mark Twain and Glenn Frey from the Eagles have been part of it. So yeah, it's a pretty insane guest list. Now, Bohemian Grove has this strict rule: no business talk allowed. Like, they're supposed to be there just to relax, have fun, and forget about work. No deals, no politics, just bonding and weird theatres. But a lot of people believe that some major decisions have already been made inside the Grove. The biggest example? The Manhattan Project, aka the plan to build the first nuclear bomb during World War II, was reportedly first discussed inside Bohemian Grove in 1942. That's not some small talk, that's a historical moment that changed the world forever. There are also rumours that early Cold War strategies, including US defence plans, were discussed there too, and again, not at official government meetings, but at this hidden summer camp for the elite. So if that's true, no business talk seems like a pretty fake rule. I mean, you've got the most powerful people on Earth in one place. No media watching, no rules, no recordings. Of course they're going to talk shop. But here's the thing, if it's really all harmless fun, why is it so secret? Like, think about it. There are a lot of private clubs in the world, but Bohemian Grove takes it to another level. Every July, when the event happens, the whole area basically turns into a military zone. There are armed guards walking around everywhere. Big fences go up around the forest. No phones allowed. No cameras. No drones. And even satellite images of the area are blocked during that time. That's a lot of effort just to keep a party private. And this is why critics are saying, yo, what are they hiding in there? There's even this saying, if you want to know what someone's hiding, look at what they won't talk about. But in 2000, something crazy happened. A guy named Alex Jones, yes, the conspiracy theory guy, somehow snuck into Bohemian Grove and filmed the cremation of care ritual. That's the weird owl burning ceremony we talked about earlier. The footage went viral, not because it showed anything illegal, but because it looked super strange. Powerful men in robes, chanting in front of a giant owl burning a coffin. It felt more like a secret cult than a fun getaway. The video is still online today. You can watch it yourself and decide what it looks like. Some people say it's just a play. Others are like, nope, that's cult stuff. Before that, in 1981, a journalist named Philip Weiss from Spy magazine pulled off something kind of crazy. He went undercover as a worker inside Bohemian Grove. He pretended to be part of the staff so he could observe what really went down during those 2 weeks. What he reported was wild. According to him, it was basically a bunch of super rich, powerful men acting like college frat boys. There was a ton of drinking, sexist jokes, and goofing around, but also a lot of networking between the world's most powerful people. He described it as a place where powerful men act like frat boys with too much money. That quote pretty much sums up the vibe he witnessed. It wasn't some Illuminati-level dark ritual, at least not in his eyes, but it also wasn't just an innocent party. It was somewhere in between. Rich guys doing dumb stuff, but also talking business behind closed doors. But here's something interesting. Some famous people who attended the Grove have actually talked about kind. Let's start with one of the most surprising quotes from Richard Nixon, former US president. He once said, "The Bohemian Grove. I never shake hands with anyone who goes there. It's the most faggy, goddamned thing you could ever imagine." Yeah, not a great choice of words at all. It's actually super offensive by today's standards. But what's really weird is that Nixon himself went to Bohemian Grove multiple times. So even though he said that, he still kept showing up. Some people think he was uncomfortable with how strange the rituals were. Others say he was just trying to act tough for political reasons. Either way, it proves he knew what was going on inside and didn't completely love it. Now let's talk about Ronald Reagan, another US president who was known for being more chill about the Grove. He once joked, "The Bohemian Club, where I will get the right kind of speech therapy." That's obviously a light-hearted comment, but it also shows that he was actively involved in the Bohemian Club. Another person connected to the Grove is Colin Powell, a former US Secretary of State. In a leaked email from 2012, he casually mentioned that he had attended Bohemian Grove before. He didn't go into detail, but just the fact that he admitted going added more proof that top-level government officials actually participate in these gatherings. But here's something you should know. It's not the only place like. There are actually a bunch of secretive and exclusive groups around the world where powerful people meet behind closed doors. One of the most talked about ones is the Bilderberg Group. This group meets every year, usually in Europe, and it includes world leaders, CEOs, bankers, military officers, and royalty. No cameras, no public allowed. Even journalists are blocked out. People say they talk about global issues, but nobody really knows what's discussed. Then there's the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. This one's a bit more public, like they release a schedule and post speeches online, but still, it's basically the richest people on Earth meeting in one place to decide the future of the world economy. A lot of this is invitation only, and every day people have no say. And if we go even deeper into secret societies, there's the Skull and Bones Society at Yale University in the US. This group is made up of elite college students, many of whom go on to become politicians, presidents, or business tycoons. Even George W. Bush and John Kerry were members. What they do inside their meetings, still a mystery. So yeah, Bohemian Grove is just one piece of a bigger puzzle. And if you guys want a deep dive video on these secret groups, let us know in the comments. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss it when we upload, because all these groups have something in common. They're full of people with power. They meet in private, and the rest of the world isn't allowed to know what's going on. And that leads to the one big question. Why? Why do they need this much secrecy? Is it really just networking and bonding? Or are real-world decisions being made in secret? What do you think? Let us know in the comments.